The village in it with a map and a plan. No place too tiny for this determined man. Crossing the counties one by one, he'll see in every English corner a bit of history.
Welcome back to Harrogate again, people, and to the penultimate episode of 2024. We've got one more to come out after this tomorrow. It's a very special one. It usually is on the 23rd of December. Well, this is the 22nd. Let's leave that until tomorrow. This is a lovely little village. It shouldn't be confused with two other villages which have the same name, one elsewhere in Yorkshire and one in Cumbria. This is Melmerby. Melmerby, Sandy Farm. Today in North Yorkshire we come to Melmerby. Now it's important to note that this is the Melmerby near Ripon because there are two in North Yorkshire. It's even more important not to confuse this with the Melmerby in Cumbria. That one has a massive historic hall that's going to be really cool to cover, but we're not there today. Instead, this little village is just south of Middleton Quernhow and both villages work in conjunction with each other. In many ways, Melmerby is like Middleton Quernhow's bigger brother. The name is of Old Norse origin and means a sandy settlement or sandy field. The form of the name has been influenced by Melmerby in Coverdale, 16 miles to the west, which has a different origin. Until the late 1950s, the village was the site of a major railway junction on the Harrogate to Northallerton line. There was a station too, named Melmerby, but the site of that is not actually within the boundaries here. As such, it will be covered in a future episode. During the war, the village was the site of a large munitions store, taking advantage of that railway access. The modern village has a pub called the George and Dragon, a cricket team, namely Wath and Melmerby Cricket Club, who play in the Nidderdale League, and it also stages an annual 10-kilometre road race, which has been held since 1984. This isn't a 10-kilometre walk though, it's far less. Instead, this will be a nice amble around a village that's got a lot going for it. Let's go and enjoy. Our route begins with the playing fields located in Melmerby's southeastern corner. Now, although these do have sports facilities, this is not where the local cricket club play. Wath and Melmerby Cricket Club play on a pitch that's a ways south of this, next to a big industrial estate. We'll catch that at the end. On one corner of the playing fields is the village hall, a shared facility between Melmerby and Middleton Quernhow. This was built in 1954. It can offer its services to many other villages too, simply because it's within easy reach of both the A61 and the A19, and of course the A1. It's a great venue for parties, meetings, clubs and more. The building consists of a main hall, a stage area, a kitchen and toilets. And very quickly we can get Melmerby off the list. Here's a parish notice board in memory of Squadron Leader Reuben K, 2003. So says this board. Let's put the card on there, and that's Melmerby. Done. The George and Dragon pub is much older. This was relaunched in 2013 after being closed for a year. It was something of a forgotten pub according to a few newspaper articles I read about it. It was formerly owned by Thwaites Brewery, but today it's under the stewardship of Tony and Debbie Walsh. The pub was refurbished and the car park was redeveloped to include an outdoor drinking area. The whole project cost somewhere in the region of £80,000. The couple previously ran the Dog and Gun in Nayton for 8 years, and after taking this on, they said they aimed to create a community hub. So I guess Melmerby now has 2 of those. Melmerby is a fair-sized village. The houses are mainly 18th century date-wise, and the numerous brick pigeon houses, of which there are about half a dozen, add to its attractive appearance. The standout property in the village is Melmerby Hall. This should not be confused with the one in Cumbria. That one will be hitting your screens though at some point. This one was the seat of Captain R.S. Pearson. It's quite modern, but at one end of it is a farmhouse dating from the early 17th century, so this is surely an historic site. There's a set of stables at the rear which form a picturesque group, with some open stone arches to the front and a brick pigeon house on the 3rd floor. Now, if you carry on walking at this point, you get to the village of Wath, which we will cover in a future episode. Between Melmerby and Wath, there's the old railway station, which actually isn't within Melmerby's boundaries, it's within Wath's instead, so we'll cover that in that episode. What we're going to cover next, though, is something completely different. Now, Melmerby has 2 chapels. There's one of them right there, except that's not a chapel anymore. That is the base of a band. The Ripon City Band are a traditional brass band who enjoy playing hymns and marches, but they're also comfortable playing overtures and popular music too. This old chapel is now the band's home, and a few years ago it was fully renovated for their use. It's difficult to write an accurate history of Ripon City Band, as over the years there appear to have been bands with different names in the city. It used to be based in Ripon itself, and its history can be traced back to at least 1860. The first mention of the band was in November of that year, when the Ripon Rifle Corps were recorded as receiving instruments. They came with a debt though of £24, which the Corps paid off. Now the next thing to see is the other chapel, and to get to it from this one you have to walk along Back Lane. Basically the chapels are at either end of this road. So yeah, let's have a walk down here and find the other one. After walking up Back Lane, we're now at the other former chapel. This one was originally Wesleyan and it was built in 1826. That's all the history I have for this. It was very slim pickings as far as this one goes. A small business now occupies the premises. Okay, we've made it all the way around the routes here in Melmerby, but we're not quite done with this parish yet. You see, to the south of the village there's an industrial estate, and part of that used to be a munitions depot during the war. We're heading down there to talk about that, but also to catch the cricket club. Let's go. To finish with, we have to take a drive around the industrial area south of the village. A lot of this we can't actually access, but the main reason I'm here is for the cricket club. That's on the right of your screens now. Wath and Melmerby Cricket Club are members of the Nidderdale League. Otherwise, this industrial estate has businesses that include the likes of Duffield Timber, the European Tile Showroom and the English Marquee Company, a decent selection. This industrial estate is a small part of the former Melmerby Ordnance Depot. Mainly it was further to the southwest, and a lot of it is not within the parish boundaries. In 1942, during World War II, the Ministry of Supply opened the Ordnance Depot some 1.5 miles south of Melmerby Station. It was served by a short branch from the Leeds to Northallerton line. A new signal box, named Melmerby South, was provided to control access to the branch. The line closed to passenger traffic in March 1967, but it's now completely disappeared, and we'll talk more about the railway in a future episode. For now, that's that, folks. Time to head off to another part of the country for now. We'll be back in Harrogate next year, but this is the last we'll see of it in 2024. Join me tomorrow, though, as we wrap up 2024 with the final parish in the county of Nottinghamshire. Now, just before I go, remember, this video is part of a huge project to visit every civil parish in England. That's more than 10,000. These routes are pre-planned, and due to time constraints, I can't cover every detail or walk down every street. Please don't complain if this video missed something out. I pronounce names how I choose to. I am very aware that local dialect may vary, and I don't take kindly to criticism about this. You've been warned. It's impossible to know everything too. If this video was terrible, make your own. If you're a regular watcher of The Village Idiot, you're not the only one. If you've got a small business, why not use my videos to advertise it? Leave a comment below if you're interested. And finally, thanks for watching this episode, everybody. Give us a like and a subscribe if you've enjoyed this episode, and share it with your friends and relatives. It all helps to keep this mission going. Until next time, I've been Andy, also known as The Village Idiot, and I'm out.